Hey guys, it's Dale with the insurance. Today we're going to talk about an article. It's it's a it, it's rather annoying, um, but it's absolutely necessary, and it's heavily regulated, and it's convoluted, and it can be confusing. But either way, uh, you know what I'm talking about. It's health insurance, it's Obamacare, it's that time of the year. It happens every year. It's open enrollment. What do I do? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This article, it's actually a landing page. It's chock full of information. Go check it out. If any of the topics that we run through today during this talk interest you in particular, you can delve down deep, because obviously this is pretty shallow. I'll give you some good points, and some good notes to think about as we're actually in the middle of open enrollment. But if anything that you hear you want to do a bit more research on and dive deep into, make sure you pull up the article. There are several hyperlinks in it that allow you to expand on any one topic. Open enrollment, I mean, the timing can change each year, right? This year it's November 1st to about mid-January, and it's that for majority of the states. Once again, it's variable. Check your state insurance department, because that's for majority of the states. Some it's a little shorter. And then as you get closer, as we move into the new year, we get closer to that expiration date. Continue to check in with your state insurance department, because they do oftentimes, issue extensions, right? So if you're running late on kind of the open enrollment period and you feel that you may not be able to obtain insurance before that cutoff date, see if there's an extension for your particular state. You may be fine. You may have enough time. There are a couple odd things that I kind of thought that could be of use, that have changed, and you actually want to keep in mind during OEP. One is that there's no penalty anymore, so it's been like that since 2019. Some people know that. If you're not into health insurance, which is a lot of people, you probably didn't, but no penalty for not having insurance. Another thing is check if you qualify for the Affordable Care Act tax credit, right? Any way you can really buffer the costs of health insurance is obviously a win, and that's one way to do so. There are alternatives to Obamacare, right? So like short-term health insurance. Just keep in mind, if you do short-term health insurance and any other alternative, that most, if not all of those alternatives do not have the same all-encompassing coverage as health insurance you get on the open enrollment, okay? There are some things that may not be covered, like pre-existing conditions and things of that nature. There are cost assistance programs. If you have to qualify for them. Some are income-based, some are based on family size, some are based on what other options of coverage do you have available to you. Some of those programs are kind of the CHIP program, Child Health Insurance Program, it's called. Medicaid, obviously, premium tax credit, and then cost-sharing subsidies. All are programs that you should be looking into. That, I mean, even if you think you don't apply, it's worth the time, because this can be such a hefty cost in terms of health insurance premiums. Now, if you miss, and this happens to many of us, if you miss OEP, some of your options we spoke about before, short-term health insurance. Just know if you take that option, really look at the coverage. make sure that it at least has the bare minimum of what you need, because it's not going to be as bulky as a policy you would get on kind of open enrollment on the marketplace. The other option is apply during special enrollment period, right? And that's a period that is triggered by a personal event, right? So like you lost your job, which triggered you losing coverage, right? You got married, you got divorced, you had a child, someone on your policy died, things like that. Those type of triggering events, those type of special events, trigger a special enrollment period in which you would be able to then go back to the market and obtain health insurance, right? Just keep in mind, even with the special enrollment period, that typically it has to be done within 60 days of that occurrence, okay? So you can't say, hey, I got divorced last year or 6 months ago, and have just been in a rut and now I want to get my insurance, right? It has to be typically within about 60 days. So relatively recent, so to speak, right? So those are kind of a few nuggets that we wanted to share from our webpage on special enrollment, not special enrollment, but Obamacare 2023. Hopefully it was helpful. It's we know that it's a hectic time, especially given you have a very short window to obtain coverage, and do your research and do your analysis. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk next week.